Welcome back to some more fun with math. We are still in my kitchen and I'm going to see exactly what you remember from Wednesday. So remember how many inches in a foot? 12 inches, absolutely right. How many feet in a yard? 3 feet. Who remembers the difference between a yard and a meter? Remember I just kind of threw that in as a little extra bonus there. How many of you guys remember an additional 3 inches with a meter? So where a yard is 36 inches, the meter is 39 inches plus a little extra. Now here's one near and dear to my heart. How many feet in a mile? Going once, going twice. Who's gonna get my virtual starburst? 5,280, absolutely right. How many yards in a mile? 1,760, that's it. Now, let's see what you remember about converting. When you have a larger unit and you're going to make it smaller, what do you do? What do you do? Multiply, absolutely right. If you have a smaller unit and you're going to make it larger, what do you do? Divide, absolutely. Today, we're going to talk about liquid measurements. And I have this up on my board. You also have it inside your math book, so you should have your math book in front of you. So one thing I want to just show you real fast. Sometimes we get confused. We know the cup, we know the gallon, but sometimes we get confused with the pint and the quart. And we think, which is the larger, which is the smaller measurement? I can't remember. This is one little trick that I saw. When you put them in order, you'll notice that there are 3 letters in cup, 4 letters in pint, 5 letters in quart, 6 letters in gallon. So if you put them in order and you have your 3, 4, 5, 6, you'll know that you have them in the correct order. And that will help you remember that it's cup, pint, quart, gallon. Just a little bonus for you there. Now remember, when we talk about conversions, you need to know your base measurements to be able to convert. Because if you don't know your base measurements, then you don't know what you should be multiplying and what you should be dividing. So those are things that you do have to know. So let's just look at these very briefly. We have 8 fluid ounces in a cup. So here's our cup right here. And a cup has 8 fluid ounces in our cup. But when we take it and we want to measure something a little bit larger, there are 2 cups in a pint. So I'm going to put my marker down for just a minute. And I'm going to pick up my second measuring cup. So you can see the size difference. This measuring cup can hold 2 cups or 1 pint. And this measuring cup holds 1 cup or 8 fluid ounces. So here's my question if you're thinking right now. If 1 cup holds 8 fluid ounces, and this one is 2 cups or 1 pint, how many ounces are in here? Remember, there are 2 cups. So 2 cups times 8 fluid ounces, 2 times 8 gives us our 16 ounces. So remember, we can keep making that conversion. We can keep going with that. But because these are glass, I'm going to go ahead and set them back down now. So let's look at our next one. So we have 2 cups to 1 pint. We have 2 pints for 1 quart. Notice our 3, our 4, our 5. So we would need 2 of these for 1 quart of something, all right? Like maybe you're buying half and half or heavy cream. There are some people, like I buy buttermilk. If I have to have buttermilk, I'll buy that by the quart, 2 of those. Some people that don't drink a lot of milk, I guess, would buy milk by the quart. I don't know those people. Maybe you do. Maybe you are one. We'll talk about that. Proper nutrition. So we have 2 pints to a quart. Now, 2 quarts will give us a half gallon. So this is normally the way I buy milk, even though I keep more of it in there. 2 quarts or a half gallon. Hold on, I'm walking away from you right now. Because you don't want to leave your milk out. That would be bad. You want to keep it nice and cold. So this is 2 quarts or a half gallon of milk. Now, if I had 2 of these, I would have 4 quarts or a whole gallon. So here's our half gallon. And another way you can see it is here is a measuring cup that holds 8 cups or a half gallon. And yes, I actually have a measuring cup that big. So there we can see a half gallon. We can see it this way, or we can see it this way. But a lot of people buy their milk this way. Some people buy a full gallon of milk. If they had organic milk that way, I do it, but I don't see it like that, so I buy it by the half gallon. But that's how I buy my milk, by the half gallon. And a lot of us buy our milk like that. So I'm going to go put it back in the refrigerator. Now what you're going to be doing, and you should have your math book in front of you right now, and I'm going to grab my math book right here. We're going to be doing conversions just like what you did yesterday, but instead of really using your foot and your yard and your inch, today we're going to talk about ounces, cups, pints, quarts, and gallons. Same verse, same thing, just different base measurements. So once you understand that you have larger, if you make larger units smaller, you multiply, you take smaller units, you make them larger, you divide. As long as you remember that and you remember what your base units are, you're going to be fine. And also remember what we talked about on Wednesday is we don't always keep the same measurements. Remember how we used the example of my height? I'm 5 feet, 5.5 inches. That's 2 different kinds of measurements. We have the foot and we had the inch. Well, we can have the same thing here when we do these measurements. So I wanted to do 2 of these with you so that you could see that going through and that you would be comfortable with it. So I went ahead and I put them on the bottom. I'm going to ask you to have your parents take a picture of this and let me see it. I also want to see your math behind it. Some of you guys are probably already sitting right there going, I can do that math in my head. I just want to put the answer. No. I want to see your math worked out. Because if you make a mistake, I don't know where you made your mistake and I don't know how to help you make that right. So I want to see your math. I want to see it worked out. I want to see exactly what was done in case there was something that we need to talk about. So let's look at this one that we have right here. I'm going to put my glasses back down. I'm going to do my math off to the side because obviously I don't have the same type of whiteboard that I have in our classroom. So we have 22 fluid ounces and it's asking us, this is number 7 in your book, which you're going to be doing, so you may want to work this along with me. 22 fluid ounces equals how many cups and how many ounces? So remember, we're taking a smaller measurement and we're moving into a larger measurement. From ounces to cups, smaller to larger, so what are we going to do? Absolutely, we're going to divide. So we take our 22, and I'm going to work it right up here because this is where I have room. And how many ounces are there to a cup? There's 8. Absolutely right. We see that right up here, so we divide by 8. How many times can 8 go into 22? We have 8, we have 16. If we go any higher, we go over 22. So 8, 16, 24. So we can't go to 3, we stay with our 2. So 2 times 8 equals 16. Absolutely. 2 minus 6, if I have 2 starbursts, you cannot take 6 starbursts from me. So we borrow. 12 minus 6 equals 6. So we have 2 cups and 6 fluid ounces. We went from a smaller unit to a larger unit, so we divided. So again, here we go. We have 22 quarts to gallon. We're going from quarts to gallon. Are we going from a larger unit to a smaller unit? Or are we going from a smaller unit to a larger unit? That's right. We're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So again, what are we going to do? We're going to divide. Absolutely. So I'm going to work this right off to the side where I have some space. I have 22 quarts here. And tell me, how many quarts are there to a gallon? Right here, 4 quarts to 1 gallon. So we're going to divide by 4. How many times can 4 go into 22? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. 24 is too high, so 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. 22 minus 20 gives us 2. Now, we could write this as 5 2/4 gallons, but is that complete? When we deal with fractions, what is the last step for dealing with fractions? Absolutely, we need to reduce it. And what can we reduce this? Because this is going to remain the same measurement. Notice how I put the gallon here because that's what we're working with. Up here, we had the difference between cups and ounces. It was separated out. But here, they're the same. It's gallon. They said we want to know gallons. That's it. So that's why we have the mixed number down here, but we don't have it up here. So again, coming back to you, you guys are probably already shouting at the screen. Mrs. Crawford, 2/4 reduces to 1/2, 1/2. Why are you keeping talking? Absolutely right. So our final answer should be 5 1/2. So as long as you remember that if you're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, you multiply. If you go from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you divide. If you remember that basic rule and remember your basic measurements, you should be fine. Now today you're not working in your activity book, you're just working in your math book. But I do want to see this, and again, I want to see the math that goes with it so that I can make sure that you understand the process and that you're not making silly math mistakes, which I know that you would never, never, never do, right? You guys would never do that to me. Well, I hope you're having fun. Right now, the weather is beautiful outside. I'm not sure what the weather will be on the day that you see this, but please know I miss you so much, and I hope you're having a great time with your family. And on the next thing that I'm going to record, your reading, I'm hoping to have Lady and Penny with me. So I hope you enjoy that. See you later. Bye.